Hi, everybody. Welcome to my podcast, Bring It On, with my co-host Mike.
Hi.
Very happy today. We're going to do a review of the draft. Almost a week actually after the actual draft, because at first, I wanted to do it like the same night, but emotions can run very high, especially after the draft. We were very emotional. Some picks, disappointed, especially with Shane. Talking about the underdogs and talking about the new era of focusing on the wrestlers, and then seeing that he picked guys almost in their 40s like Cena and Orton and AJ Styles, and we were very disappointed. And then at the second part of the draft on the WWE Network, it came up with pretty good wrestlers, guys like Neville, and it kind of evened out.
Apollo Crews. Yeah.
Apollo Crews, not Neville, but Apollo Crews, and
Right.
a few cool guys.
Yep.
And the American Alpha is
Exactly.
not a good pick. But we're going to start by addressing Monday Night Raw, which is still the flagship show, the moneymaker. And it was easy to see that it's
Right.
going to be the main focus again.
Well, of course, it's always going to be the main focus of Raw because Raw has been running longer than SmackDown,
Exactly.
and plus Raw is 3 hours and SmackDown is 2 hours.
Exact.
So that's why, yeah.
Exact. And I think it's going to, the fact that they added the cruiserweight division now on
That's
Raw.
gonna be good, yeah.
And with guys like Kenta Kobashi already signed, Grand Metallic, and probably TJ Wilson. There's a lot of
TJ Perkins.
TJ Perkins. There's a lot of guys coming up from that tournament, the Cruiserweight Classic.
And
That-
guys from NXT like Ciampa and Johnny
Gargano.
Exactly, so yeah.
Good guys. Even guys on the roster like Neville and Kalisto, could fit the bill on the Cruiserweight.
Well, of course, yeah.
Not necessarily always be in the division, but do have matches because they're not much bigger than the guys we've seen on the Cruiserweight division so far,
The weight limit is 205 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So we're not going to see Brock Lesnar facing
Probably not.
like Grand Metallic or
I
guys
don't-
like that.
I don't think so.
But on Raw, the obvious number one choice, that was no brainer was Seth Rollins.
Well,
I think
that was obvious.
obvious, and I don't think anybody can disagree that Seth freaking Rollins is the new face of the WWE.
That's right.
The best wrestler, the best promo guy on the company. He's got the looks, he's got the talent, he's got the wrestling skills, he's got everything to be the new face of the WWE. And what do you think about Seth, the number one pick?
Oh, he's great. I mean, I love Seth Rollins. He's a great wrestler. Of course, he deserves to be number one pick. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure you know that he will probably be the world champion. I don't know how it's going to work out, if he's going to win the title tomorrow at Battleground. If he does, will they bring the World Heavyweight title to Raw and then have a new belt for SmackDown?
Probably.
Or, I don't know. But, it's still very interesting to see what Battleground will do tomorrow with the title belt. I don't know if Dean stays champion. Will he keep the belt on SmackDown? Then they probably have a tournament on Raw to determine a new champion.
Probably. We'll see.
So that's very interesting, and hopefully, to me, I hope Dean can have a long run with the belt,
I hope so.
especially if he wins tomorrow. I think that
Yeah.
now the guys that he faces on the SmackDown roster could have a very long title reign and very interesting feuds coming up for him. So
That's right.
I agree with Seth being the number one pick, and we're not necessarily go by order of the picks because I thought it would be very boring to go like, okay, number one pick, but Seth number one was awesome, and then you go down and you realize that Raw is so deep that it won't really show, that they lost so many guys because the roster is deep as it ever was,
Exactly. That's why they did the draft because it's so deep. Yeah.
And I think with the tag team division now, with the New Day staying on Raw, with Enzo and Cass staying on Raw, the club, I think we're going to be facing a tag team. They might bring other teams from NXT,
Exactly. The revival.
The Revival and other teams. There's a lot of very talented tag teams right now in the WWE, outside of the WWE.
Exactly.
The Young Bucks, the Briscoe brothers,
Oh
a lot.
my God. Yeah.
A lot of talented teams. So I think the tag team revolution is in full effect.
Of course. Yeah.
And a guy I was very happy to see staying on Raw was Kevin Owens.
I was surprised.
Yeah, me too, because we're big,
I thought for sure they're going to split up Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and now
Me too.
they're both on the same show. They're both on Raw. So yeah.
Unless they got something planned for Sami Zayn, maybe a heel turn or whatever,
Who knows?
and maybe have a faction with Kevin Owens after Battleground. Maybe they'll shake hands and
Probably.
become best friends again. I just don't see Kevin as a face. But
Who knows? I don't know.
you know, I think that
Yeah.
Sammy as a heel could work. You know, and then later on can come back as a babyface and
Yeah.
it still won't hurt. And Sammy staying on Raw. You know, the with less older guys holding them back like Cena and Orton gone.
Right.
It will give him a better chance. He's already, I would say, if you don't count Roman Reigns as a babyface, actually, Sami Zayn is probably number 2 or number 3 on the babyface side of Monday Night Raw, along with Cesaro
Probably.
and other guys. So I think it kind of freed the way for him to have a bigger push and maybe a feud down the line with Seth Rollins, which would be amazing, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
There would be great matches, you know, and I don't think he's ready yet to be a world champion, but
No.
maybe U.S. title down the road.
Yeah.
With Rusev, you know, Rusev could have a long U.S. title reign, and then you could have Sammy, you know, winning the title. It could be a good way to build him up.
Definitely, yeah.
And Roman Reigns coming back to Raw, you know, I wasn't sure, you know, if it was a good move, because the SmackDown crowds to me always seem less hostile towards Roman than the Raw crowd.
Don't forget, because before it was taped, so they could always edit the crowd. Because
You're
it
right.
was taped, and now it's going to be live every week. So now they can't edit anymore because it's going to be live.
That's a freaking good point.
So exactly.
That's why probably, you know, he seemed to have better reactions on SmackDown than
Exactly.
and being in front of not as passionate crowds as
I
Dallas
can't-
or Chicago.
I can't wait to see tomorrow night at Battleground the reaction of the crowd.
Yeah,
And,
well, last night, you know, he had a pretty good reaction when he came out during
Good.
the Seth Rollins match at the house show.
Good.
You know, I watched the tape today, and the reaction of the crowd seemed to be very positive
That's
towards
why
Roman.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow night in Washington D.C. It's going to be fun to see it.
I've said it before, you know, and I'll say it again. You know, the people that are booing Roman Reigns are, you know, the biggest pieces of shit on the face of this earth, because those people, you can like somebody or you cannot like somebody, it doesn't matter, but to disrespect a guy and say you can wrestle at him and stuff like that,
I don't like that. No.
it's totally just a question of jealousy and just, you know, flying with the wind. You know, okay, now we got 20 little bastards, you know, starting screaming Roman sucks. Well, let's do like them. No, you know, if you like Roman, why would you do that? It's the same thing with John Cena
same thing.
years ago. It's the same freaking thing. And if they run with Dean Ambrose a year from now, the same thing will happen, because people don't like what are presenting to them as if this is our guy, this is the guy we're running with.
Yes.
But
It's the push he has.
exactly. Imagine Hulk Hogan. Imagine Hulk Hogan if it was today.
Yeah,
Imagine Macho Man, you know, if it was today.
exactly.
And by the way, we have a very good little cameraman, Fred. Hey, how are you, Fred? Just keep it steady, okay?
Imagine if it was the
C'est
same thing,
la droite, pas qu'à vous.
back in the old days, the Ultimate Warrior. I mean,
The Ultimate
He wasn't the
Warrior.
greatest wrestler of all time.
Imagine those "you can't wrestle" chants.
Exactly. He wasn't the greatest wrestler, but he became champion.
Exactly. Like, I love whatculture.com, you know, Bleacher Report. They have sometimes articles of guys that could have made it back then, guys that could have made it back today. And that will be another podcast. But there's a lot of guys from the past that never would have made it, and guys from the past that didn't make it as far as they did that today would make it. Guys like Mr. Perfect, Ravishing Recruit.
Oh, yeah.
It would be the internet darling, you know, of the smarks. You know, because I don't consider myself a smart fan. I'm just a fucking wrestling fan. I love wrestling. I love to go to the shows. Like, we're going, where are we going in November, brother?
Toronto.
Toronto with the kids.
Survivor
Series. We'll be there live, you know, and
Oh,
we're going there to enjoy ourselves, because this is the biggest
Obviously,
passion of our life.
Look at our shirts. I mean, it's obvious. I
Exactly.
have about probably 30 T-shirts of wrestling. So
Exactly, and like you said before, I don't care about the. Of course, we read all the articles and everything, but
Of course.
I don't care about the behind-the-scene dirt. I will not stop booing a guy just because I read on the internet that the guy did this or did that, or it was disrespectful to a fan. Sometimes, you know, fans
Or
are
now
disrespectful to the guys.
or now Roman Reigns, because he was suspended for 30 days.
Yeah.
I don't care what he did. It's not
For
my
pills, whatever. It's not
my-
steroids.
It's not my business what he
It's
did.
not my business. You know, the same thing with Brock Lesnar.
Exactly.
Why would they boo Roman Reigns and then keep cheering Brock Lesnar? You know, if
But because he's Brock.
I know, but it just sucks. You know,
Yeah,
people
I know.
boo to boo,
Exactly.
and they have no reason to. And I just want to say to those people,
But
you
I
know,
think,
you know who you are. Like Vince Russo said before, you know, to all the people that chant You can't wrestle at Roman Reigns. I can tell you right now, you guys do not. You're not worth the dirt you're stepping your foot in. You're a piece of shit, and guys like you make all of us wrestling fans look bad, and you make all the wrestlers comment about the internet people being all in the same boat just because of your few pieces of crap.
They always put everybody in the same boat.
We're not all in the same boat. You know, guys like Justin LeBar, Mike Chiari from Bleacher Report,
Oh.
a lot of extraordinary writer. You know, a guy yesterday that on Twitter, I told him, you know, on What Culture, the articles he wrote are totally amazing. There's a lot of great, on Bleacher Report, most of the guys, you know, are absolutely amazing.
Of course.
And they're not there to bash just to bash, you know, they're there to give their opinion, but at the same time, you know, whenever you see a guy low on the food chain, it's just one person deciding that this guy is on the food chain. You know, Heath Slater, for example, you know, he's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
He does his job when he's called upon, and he sits at the bottom of the food chain. They might do an angle now with him, but I don't know.
It was the same as the wrestlers that were released recently. Look at Damien Sandow, who was just released recently. He was a great wrestler. Why was he released?
I don't know. Damien Sandow probably because they just didn't know what to do with him anymore.
Exactly. That's why he was released.
And Cody left. You know, I love Cody. That would be another podcast too. But you know, I think that like Ryback said, you know, it's one person deciding the fate of everybody else. You know, one or two person. But the guys are doing the best they can. I always look at the guy, and if he's got 2 minutes and he makes the most out of it, then I like the guy.
Right.
You know, like Damien was a good example. Cody was a good example. You know, with the Stardust character, he was totally into it. He was doing podcasts, you know, with Sam Roberts in character. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing. So now we continue down the list, you know, of the guys on Raw. Yeah, the list is deep, man. That's amazing, you know. It's a deeper roster than in 1990.
I was surprised that Finn Balor was chosen so high.
Oh, but me too.
Number 3.
Number 3,
For
and
Raw.
You know,
Wow.
I think the Demon will be great. I hope he's not coming out painted every week.
No.
He's going to keep it for
Special
pay-per-views.
pay-per-views like SummerSlam.
Yeah, me too. Oh, hopefully, but I you know, to me, I don't want to get the smarks mad against me or the fans or whoever listening to the podcast, but I'm a huge fan of the Demon character. I'm not totally impressed with him as a wrestler. I haven't seen anything that stood out in all his matches. I think the matches were great because of his opponent. Not saying that he can't.
No, he's good.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah. He's an okay wrestler, but the matches against Samoa Joe were carried by Samoa Joe. Against Kevin Owens, the matches were carried by Kevin Owens. He doesn't do anything special. He's not a high flyer. He's not a very mat wrestler. He's like an okay. He's good at everything, but he's not extraordinary at anything. But that's okay. He's a great character.
Yep.
Fan love him, and hopefully he's going to have a good run on the roster. But I'm not impressed as a performer in the ring. The character is 100% perfect, you know, absolutely amazing. But 200 pounds to have that character, you have to do something special with it, because if they present him as a new Taz and they put him in the ring against Roman Reigns or guys that are twice his size, he's going to look bad.
He's not even 200 pounds.
He's not, and you know, he looked great in the ring with Samoa Joe, but Samoa Joe works great with smaller guys.
Earlier, you were speaking about the cruiserweights. He could be in the cruiserweights.
It could be the smallest guy in the cruiserweight division.
Well, yeah,
he would be. But I love Finn, and hopefully he's gonna have a good run. Yeah. And you know, keep the New Day, like we said, Enzo and Cass.
Yeah.
The club. I don't know why they separated the club from AJ Styles. Maybe because it's going to become the Baylor Club.
It could be with Finn Balor, yeah.
With Finn. But, you know, the tag team division with Golden Truth and, you know, like, I think the tag team division, you know, on Raw is going to be amazing. The Shining Stars, the Dudley Boys, I think they have a deep division. And if they add a few teams down the road, like Makeshift Team or, you know, guys like the Revival or Sign Up, talented guys from the independents like the Young Bucks, they could have the best tag team division they ever had, because basically when you look at it, they only lost of worth, you know, the Usos, and American Alpha was not there, so they didn't lose anybody of importance. It's all the C teams that left, even though to me some of them deserve more than what they were getting, but they didn't lose much in terms of tag teams, and they're going to be very strong tag team division.
Yeah.
Hopefully down the line, New Day could separate and give space to Enzo and Cass to become the number 1 tag team.
Yeah.
So let's see, you know.
Okay.
Darren Young staying on Raw, you know, hopefully is make Darren Young character with Mr. Backlund catches on. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
I love him. You know, I follow him on Twitter. He's a great guy. Interact with him all the time, and he's a tremendous performer. Oh, you really hope, you know, you can't help but cheer for a guy like this. You know, he's a wonderful guy, a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
His Block the Hate campaign is amazing, and if you don't know people personally, don't take personally anything they say against you and stuff like that. It's a great role model,
Yeah.
and people, you know, the WWE need people like Darren Young and Titus O'Neil too that stayed on Raw, you know, to be good ambassadors for the company. And Darren is way better in the ring than Titus, but Titus got a little bit more charisma.
Titus is stronger too.
That's why I would, you know, if it was just me, I would put them in tag team, primetime players with Bob Backlund as a manager.
Well, yeah.
That's a different.
That was the.
Yeah.
In the past, yeah.
But I'm not a booker, so.
No,
it's easy to do, you know, like armchair booking.
That's right.
But to actually be able to do it, sometimes performers don't want to. You know, sometimes they just don't like each other. I know Titus and Darren
It looks easy.
love each other, but I mean,
it looks easy, but it's not.
it's not. You know, back in the day, you know, all the tag teams hated their guts. Even the Rougeau brothers couldn't stand each other.
Yeah.
They were brothers. Imagine that.
British Bulldogs hated each other. So
Yeah, they did.
there you go.
They really did. And they kept good lower card wrestlers like Sin Cara and, you know, my God, Braun Strowman. I just don't know. Hopefully tomorrow something can happen after the match that they throw him out of the Wyatt family, can come back with a new character. I don't know, but I'm just not sold on the guy. He's not a good wrestler at all. Character looks like a good guy, you know, just not scary to me. I don't know. I would put him in NXT for a few months, repackage him, and bring him back. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Or wait until Luke Harper comes back and put them in tag team. That would be a good tag team. At least Luke is probably the most underrated wrestler on the roster. So
Yeah.
you would make a good tag team.
Yeah.
And then you look down the roster. Rusev, you know, the United States champion, to me would be a top 5 pick. Amazing guy. I hope he keeps his push and, you know, it doesn't get derailed. At least Cena's not there anymore to derail his push. So
Roman is.
Roman is. But I don't think they're going to put Roman in the U.S. title feud. So,
No, but I mean, Rusev will never be world champion. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I would hope so, but
No.
and then you have, to me, probably the sleeper pick, Jack Swagger.
Oh yeah, Jack Swagger. Yeah.
Jack Swagger is amazing. You know, I'm very happy he's on Raw. Is he going to get a lot of opportunities?
I hope.
I hope so, but he's going to be good. And then you have the Swiss Superman. I wanted to keep Cesaro for last because to me, you know, the shoot interview he did before SmackDown and the shoot interview he did after SmackDown was totally amazing.
Yeah.
It was great from the heart. I tweeted it and I said it's going to get him some heat. And I'm sure that, but at the same time, you know, you have to stick to your guns.
He was
from time
right.
to time.
And he was right.
And he was totally right. You know, the guy is amazing, and the focus should be on the wrestlers. It shouldn't be about Stephanie, Shane,
It's always been like
Vince,
that on
Triple
Raw.
H.
It's always the drama of
Yeah.
backstage because
It sucks.
Raw is so long, 3 hours. They have to drag it out with the backstage stuff.
But I don't care about the McMahons. I don't care about Daniel Bryan as a commissioner. I don't care about Mick Foley. I care about the wrestling. That's what I care about. You know?
Mick Foley was the commissioner.
Exactly.
Or GM of Raw with Stephanie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and Chris Jericho also coming back, you know, that's a good thing. You know, he's a good veteran. And then you have the Big Show, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, just bottom feeders. But even though I would love Bo to get a bigger push, he's a good wrestler.
Me too.
And I think that he could be, like, if they had a TV title, you know, that's the kind of title that I think he could win.
Right.
And I can't picture him right now as this character, as a main event heel, but he could be a good, solid, down mid-card guy, you know, to instead of being the resident Joker with Curtis Axel and Heath Slater.
Right.
I think sky's the limit in terms of Bo. He's still only 26 years old. He's besides the Authors of Pain, I think he's the youngest guy on WWE.
Yeah.
So hopefully, you know, there's still a lot of time. Like, listen to, you know, Bray Wyatt doing a totally off character podcast. I think it was with Sam Roberts,
Yeah.
when he talked about people being angry that he was not featured very focal point at WrestleMania. And he was, this is not a sprint.
No.
This is a marathon. I'm just 28 years old. There's still a lot of time. And if you push guys too hard,
Too fast.
sometimes what happens is what happened with Roman.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to get a small portion of the crowd, very vocal part, the part you don't want
Right.
to start, because those people are the negative leaders, because they'll start chants, they'll bring the signs, you know, they'll be the ones, you know, dragging the guys down and everything.
Yeah.
And those people, you know, they would do it for anybody. If it was not if Roman was fired tomorrow, they'd find somebody else.
Of course.
They would get on Seth Rollins, they would get on anybody. It doesn't matter. Somebody has to be their black sheep. They would find somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, it was John Cena. Now you can see the crowd stops treating Cena like crap.
I think it's going to help John Cena to have Enzo and Cass tomorrow night at Battleground, because he won't be booed because of Enzo and Cass.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But it's that thing that a Hall of Famer, a guy that's been the focal point of the company for 15 years, you need to protect him.
I know.
And you have to keep your number one babyface off TV during the WrestleMania build-up just to keep him from being booed out of the building. So,
I know.
but anyway, you know, because you have to listen to the fans, and at the same time you have to not listen to the fans. It's a big thing, you know. You have to stick to what you believe are the guys that you think are going to bring you to the next level.
That's what they're doing.
And if you make a mistake, don't be afraid to change it on the fly, you know, organically, like they did with Daniel Bryan.
Exactly.
And I think now with Cesaro, with the thing that he said after the draft, I think they could use it as a, you know, the guy that's going to go out and be like the anti-authority figure, kind of like Stone Cold was, you know, minus the beer truck. But
yeah,
you know, I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I hope so.
Yeah. And tomorrow on Battleground, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. You know, I can't wait to see if, you know, who's going to come out WWE champion. Hopefully, he's going to be Dean for the title.
It's going to be Dean Ambrose, I think. Yeah.
I hope so. I really hope so, and I hope that he wins the title, keeps the title, and he can have a long and successful run with it. Definitely. To show that he's a main event guy.
Yeah.
And that he's like he said, you know, I'm like the cockroach, you know, just won't die.
Exactly.
You know, and he is tough son of a gun. You know, the backbone of the company.
That's right.
So, and then we'll keep our SmackDown review for another podcast, because we don't want to, you know, there's so much to cover with SmackDown. We want to do a very good analysis of every, because I think that when you look at the roster of SmackDown, at first sight, you go like, ooh, it's not a deep roster. Mm-hmm. But now they're talking about adding guys like Curtis Hawkins and a few other veterans to round up the roster. And it's an opportunity to give pushes to guys who never were pushed, like Kalisto. And maybe, I don't know, maybe even a guy like Tyler Breeze could, you know, have a big push. Bray Wyatt could finally get out of the mid-card limbo he's been in. Apollo Crews.
Finally, yeah.
And AJ could have a long, successful world title run on SmackDown.
Right.
So we'll do next week the analysis of the SmackDown roster.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're going to be listening to the... everybody's going to listen and watch WWE Battleground tomorrow night. I think it's going to be a tremendous pay-per-view.
Looks pretty good, yeah.
And it's a joint Raw SmackDown.
For the final time.
Exactly. So it's going to be fun to see how they're going to end the association between Styles and the club. Are they going to turn on AJ, you know, to go on Raw and then recruit Finn Balor? Is Finn Balor going to show up?
Finn Balor tomorrow night?
And cost AJ Styles the match?
There you go.
Are we, because you can prepare WrestleMania with that, you know, with feuds. Now they're going to be on separate rosters, but if he does that, then AJ Styles is going to be fuming for months and months and months, and then probably go and face Finn Balor at WrestleMania. That would be an incredible match, you know. The phenomenal AJ Styles against the Demon, you know, Finn Balor. That would be probably the match of the night.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
And you can prepare also Roman Reigns and Cena if you really want to go that route for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Or it's a good way to the White family. How are they going to do it? Bring maybe Luke Harper, even if he's still injured, and throw Braun Strowman out of the family. I don't know. Or just let Bray go single and Eric Rowan in limbo, and I don't know, repackage him.
I don't know.
It's hard to say, but hopefully it's answers we're gonna get tomorrow night.
I hope so, yeah.
Battleground, you know, and
Gonna be
keep
good.
watching, man.
Gonna be good.
And I can't wait to watch it tomorrow night. It's gonna be a great show.
Well, yeah. It's
Believe
gonna be
that.
awesome. Definitely. A lot of good matches.
All right, Fred. Thank you.
Yeah.